Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Shout out to all the subscribers and gratitude to anyone new. Welcome along. Let's talk about the brass section and how to mix the instruments in the brass section. Now the brass section is comprised of 4 separate instruments. Okay, you got the tubas, the trombones, the horns, and the trumpets. Now if you're gonna grab a sample from Splice, which a lot of producers do, which is perfectly fine, it's probably going to have 2 or 3 of those already in there, so you're going to probably mix the whole thing together, which is what I'm going to do in this video. I'm also going to use a free plugin, and that's something that I'll leave in the link in the description, so you can download this or you can join along with you right now while I'm doing it, because that really helps the learning processes when you do it at the same time, so you know the information's still in there. But it is geared towards cinematic music, and it can help with your beats. And I'm also going to tell you the plugins that I think are really game-changing, that you might want to invest a little bit of money into, which really help the sound, because the sound starts off like this, and we end up like this. Let's get into the video. Alright, so we're inside the door. I'm about to pull an EQ. I've got the horns and the trombones from this BBC Symphony that I'll show you really quickly right now. Alright, as you can see here, the horns on this side here. We've got all the other brass sections right here. We're going to be using the tenor trombone as well. That's going to be on the other channel. But look, quickly, you've got all the strings here. Woodwind section, percussion, that's totally free. You can play staccato, long. You can really have a good experience from an orchestral point of view. But let's get into it, right? So horns on this channel, trombones on this channel, brass. We're going to pull up an EQ, right? First thing you want to do, you want to cut the lows out, right? What that does is, for any new producer, it's going to eliminate any of the rumble that's really low down on the frequency spectrum that you don't need. It's not going to add to the character of the track, and it's going to actually build up frequencies and destroy your mix if you have a lot of that. But it's good to get rid of it. You don't have to do it on every single instrument. Sometimes you got to look out for what characters you're getting rid of, but generally speaking, it's a good place to start. So we got that. It's a decent sound already, you know, it really is. That's why this free plugin is very good, because it's a pretty good sound for free. So what I like to do starting off is try to look for any really, like, you know, resonating frequencies. So we do what's called a sweep, right? You hear that? Want to take that out a little bit. I don't go so crazy with it, because sometimes it can affect the overall sounds. You don't want to drop it down so low, but I think there's definitely, if we take the sting out of that, right? And we do that again, because I know there's another one over here. I think I saw it. Sometimes you have to decide whether it's part of the sound, and you might want that, but sometimes, a lot of times, see, that's, I'm going to leave that in because that's got more of a horn quality, right? And I don't think it will affect it. I'm going to take that down a little bit. Boost that, and then we're going to boost the highs a little bit with the shelf EQ. Okay, so this is before and this is after. Very subtle difference at the moment, but we're going to add more stuff, because as we go, I'll show you the difference. So the next thing I like to do, I add a Saturn 2 Fab filter. This is excellent saturator, right? Because you can add certain saturations to any part of the frequency spectrum. And with this one, if you pull up the highs here, you add a little band in, just 1 or 2 dBs. Adds a nice bright character to it, and adding plugins is going to add character already, right? So that's it, nice and simple. I don't need a lot to do with that. The next thing I'm going to do is add a 550, right? This is a API Waves 550. I think this plugin is excellent. It's actually a game changer for me. I'll leave the link in the description. It's only $25, and if you really want to invest in your music production, you're going to have to go out and buy a couple of good plugins, and the inexpensive ones that are game changing for me are a must. And it's going to add a nice brightness to your mix, all right? So I like to drop a few lows and just test it. Okay. Right away, you can just tell that's all right, beautiful. And we're going to play this. We're going to group all these, and we'll play this together, all right? So this is without, so we can see the difference, right? Take all this off, put it on. It's getting louder, it's getting brighter, it's getting more clearer, because again, every little step is just a little bit of a purposeful step, not doing too much. Not to say that you can't, and there are experimental purposes for EQ for sure, but when the sound's good, just enhance it a little bit. And then one last thing I like to do is add OTT, which comes with Ableton. You can actually get that free as well on I'm pretty sure Serum do an OTT. I'll find out for you, and I'll leave it on the screen. But this OTT is pretty powerful, so I just add a little bit with the dry wet signal down here. We're going to add this to the group chain, and I'm going to play it without it. Play it with it. Just very subtle again on those mid to high frequencies. And that honestly is it. Let's do a testing again. Yep, there we have it. Put some drums on that, and that is all you need to do, because basically keeping it simple, less is more, adding the right plugins, and don't over EQ it. To be honest with you, the EQ, I was messing about with it, and there was some changes that weren't really doing a lot, so I didn't want to do a lot, because as I said, the sound spoke for itself, and it just needed just to take those resonant peaks out, raise the shelf at the end to get the high notes out. And sometimes you would want to drop more frequencies to open up the back, but for that particular sound it didn't need it, okay? So I left it. Again, if you're not quite sure what you're doing with EQ, I would just leave it. That's one of the biggest mistakes of people EQ, when they don't really know what they're EQing or what they're listening for. So keep it simple, add the little stages, and definitely you could use the saturator built into Ableton as a replacement, and you could get a similar sound. But I would highly recommend purchasing the API 550. That is such a marvelous plugin, and it adds such shine to a lot of instruments, and even you could use it on a lot of stuff, and it's only $25. And the Saturn too, you can put that on so many different things. You can put it on bass lines, you can put it on instruments, and it just adds this nice little extra layer of warm, crisp sound without eating too much of your levels, And then OTT, another classic thing to do, which again, if you look how much, there's only very subtle little moves on each of them, but they all combine to enhance the sound, and it's going to be ready to go, because you're going to want to use it with other instruments and it's going to be competing. So you don't want to boost everything all the time, because those frequencies that you're boosting is going to bring frequencies with that, and they're going to start clashing with other frequencies, and it's become a mess. Anyway, I hope that made sense. I'm going to do more of these. They're going to be a bit more concise and a bit more professional as I get this channel up and running. If you are new, thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button if you want more videos. This is a channel based on hip-hop music, underground beats, like drill music, some dancehall, but with a cinematic twist. Still trying to figure it out as I go along, but there'll always be orchestral music involved with it, because I love it, and it's powerful, and so is music. Anyway, that's it from me. My name is Henry James. Thanks for tuning in. Peace and love. I'm out.